Good morning, everyone. So here we have a new lesson for today, which is on how to use hyphens and dashes. So we have here the example of hyphens, and as you can see, we have here two examples of dashes, meaning to say we have two kinds of dashes. So we will find out how to use them, and for the dashes, we will find out what are those two kinds of dashes. So, what are they? So, this is a hyphen, so a little line. You have the N dash, the small version, and the M dash, the longer version. So, these are punctuation marks, and each of them may look similar, but they have different purposes. So, first of all is the commonly used among the three, the hyphen. So, hyphens are typically used when writing compound modifiers, compound nouns, the hyphenated compound nouns, and non-inclusive numbers. So, hyphens form compound modifiers by joining two or more words to describe a noun. So, he is an awkward-looking guy. So, we have two modifiers. So, only modifying one subject or one noun. So, we combine them using the hyphen. Similar with nouns, so compound nouns, so two nouns. So, we have compound modifiers, so two modifiers or two adjectives or two words that modify. It was a spur of the moment decision. So, if the modifier or if the compound modifier is particularly long, you can use quotation marks instead. So, for example, it's a good to do it yourself project. So, we can use hyphen or we can use quotation marks. So, it's a good to do it yourself project design with quotation marks. Next, so when a compound modifier is two words long and contains an adverb, don't use a hyphen. Example, we passed a poorly dressed gentleman. So, if a compound modifier is longer and contains an adverb, you use hyphens. So, we pass by a not so poorly dressed gentleman. Okay. So, again, if the modifier is two words long and contains an adverb, don't use. But if it is three words, as long as it is more than two words and still contains an adverb, then we can use a hyphen. So when a compound modifier appears before the noun it modifies, use hyphen. So I have a 6-year-old kid, example. So when the modifier appears after the noun, don't use a hyphen. So my kid is 6 years old. So as you can see, here the modifiers are first 6 years old, so pertaining to the age of the kid. So we use the hyphen. And this time, in the second example, the noun or the subject was first, the kid, before the modifiers. So, no hyphens. So, when multiple similar compound modifiers appear in a sentence, it's often simplest to only complete one of them. For examples, shop around for 2, 3, and 4 acres lots. It's clear that this means 2 acre, 3 acre, and 4 acre. But writing it like this is repetitive. Hyphens help to smooth out the sentence. So, if it will have the similar pattern, so we can just use the hyphen. Remember, we also do this in writing as well. So hyphens can also be used to form compound nouns. So as I stated earlier, the hyphenated nouns. These generally helps to clear up a confusing sentence. So compound nouns can be hyphenated or made into a one word. So with hyphen, this is a get up. This is a great setup you've got here. One word, this is a great setup you've got here. So verb phrases shouldn't be hyphenated. So when it is now a verb phrase, so don't use hyphens. So example, will you help me set up this TV? Finally, hyphens are used when writing non-inclusive numbers, such as phone numbers. So ito, example, no? 867-5309, a credit card, 000 hyphen, 1234 hyphen, so on and so forth. And SS number or SSS number, so 123 hyphen, 45 hyphen, and so on and so forth. Next is N dashes. From N, letter N, EN dashes. So these are the small version dashes. So they are typically used when writing about a range of numbers, about connections and conflicts, and about certain compound modifiers. So N dashes are used to indicate a range of numbers. So for example, there we go. What are the pages that should be read? Pages 23 to 57. So an N dash cannot be used in place of 2. For example, we have from X to Y, so we cannot use dash. We need to write the word 2. Or in place of and. For example, between X and Y. So we cannot put it between X dash dash Y. No, that's incorrect. We need to put and or the word and the word to. So for example, from tonight, read from page 23 to page 57. The French Revolution occurred between 1789 and 1799. So N dashes, one of the functions of N dash is only to indicate a range of numbers such as this. N dashes are also used to show connections between two things. So, like simile and metaphor, showing connections or what are the how are they connected? So, I caught a New York-London flight last week. So, these are connected because where is that going to? Where did it come from? Where did the flight come from? And where is it heading to? So from New York to London, or London to New York. On the flip side, N dashes are used to show conflict or opposition. So they can show connectability or how are things connected, but they can also show how are things different as well. So for example, stay tuned for the big Democrat-Republican debate. So we have here Democrat and Republican. These two are different. We have the Democratics and Republics. So side note, so these are different. A good example is America is a democratic country. The Philippines is a republic country. That's why we are called the Republic States of Republic of the Philippines. Sorry. Republic States, my God. Sorry. Okay. Next, in the N dashes. So finally, N dashes are sometimes used for compound modifiers. So similar with hyphens, but this time certain. So not all. Usually we use hyphens. These are only for special compound modifiers. If part of the modifier is a two-word phrase, an N dash is used instead of a hyphen. So for example, Meryl Streep is an award-winning actress. N dash version, Meryl Streep is an Academy Award-winning actress. So if it is a two-word phrase, remember, two-word phrase, we use N dash. If not, hyphen. It can't be written like this because Academy Award is one noun. So this is the wrong. Academy Award winning actress. So this is incorrect. Only this, award winning. Next. Okay, so this is only if you are going to use it in, or if you're going to type it in a computer. So most keyboards don't have a key that does this, so no Mdash, ano? If you want to use, or if you want to write Mdash in your Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, use Alt 0150. On a Mac, use Alt and regular hyphen key. So 2 hyphens in a row will autocorrect to an Mdash in some word processors. So in some words, Microsoft Word versions, if you put 2 hyphens, it will automatically become a Mdash. Next and last is Mdash. If earlier it was N, this time it's Mdash. So the Mdash is the wild card of punctuations. It can be used in place of commas, parentheses, colons, and semicolons, but not always. So wild card. So if you play Uno, we have what we call wild cards. So these wild cards can become a game changer. They can be used differently. Give opponents 2 cards, give them 4 cards, change the color, and so on and so forth. So Mdash is similar. They have different functions that can affect the other things as well. So the Mdash can replace commas or parentheses around a parenthetical phrase. For example, when you have time, comma, if you don't mind, comma, can you run to the grocery store? Parenthesis version, when you have time, it is in a parenthesis, so we don't, it is silent, Can you run to the grocery store? Mdash version, when you have time, if you don't mind, can you run the grocery store? An Mdash can also be used in place of a colon within a sentence. So we know how to use a colon. So it can be used similar to a colon. Example, after weeks of deliberation, the jury finally reached a verdict. So it is guilty. Similar, after weeks of blah, 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 blah. But this time we use Mdash and guilty. So using an Mdash in this way can show emphasis. So be aware of how it can change the tone of a sentence. Again, it is a wild card. So similar again with Unos. The Uno card, the Uno wild cards can change color, add a specific number of cards to the opponent's deck, changing their play or affecting them. So the Mdash can change a sentence in a different way. It can show emphasis to show greater effect. So an Mdash can also be used in place of a semicolon. So semicolon version, don't do this, don't do that. Mdash, do this, don't do that. So again, as mentioned earlier, using an Mdash in this way can change the tone of the sentence. So it can change, it can give emphasis, or it can lower the importance of the word in a sentence. So now, how to use or how to type, So in the Windows, if the earlier one is 0150, it is Alt 0151. In a Mac, so Shift Alt then regular hyphen. So again, 2 hyphens in a row will autocorrect to an Mdash, the earlier version, in some word processors. So watch out for this if you mean to use an Mdash. So again, so the Mdash is the smaller version. If you want to have an Mdash, it is the longer version. So if it might autocorrect, So be mindful of this information. So that is all for today's. So I hope you understand the three punctuation marks, the hyphen, the N dash, and the M dash. If you have any questions, so feel free to ask. So that is all, and goodbye.